for 7 or 8.
Yeah.
It's cracking.
Much like the Red Sox offseason, not much. How about you?
Oh man, big day. IKF will officially not play for the New York Yankees this year. That's nice. I've had people in my mentions all day accusing me of being a White Sox fan. That's nice. These
All
people
right, what
don't
does
know
that
me, so I can't be offended. But
what does that even mean?
oh no, I have a White Sox fit on my Abby. So just
Oh,
so I was talking shit. I was like, oh, you expected Otani and got IKF, so I'm laughing at Toronto. Like, you're a White Sox. I'm like, no, I'm not, Bucko. No, I would never in my life root for the White Sox. No.
there's this there's this thing with, I assume the people saying this have all looked like me. There's
Oh
this
yeah,
thing
1000%. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
there's
Yes.
this thing with the whites where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, you're wearing a hat. You
Bruh.
you know everything about that team. You can name every manager. That's the only team you're not even aware of the other teams. You only know of the one. It's the dumbest fucking thing. That the only time, like when I moved to New York, I made a promise to myself. It's like, I'm gonna wear a Red Sox hat 95% of the time. A, to be a dickhead, but B, I'm not home. Like, I do not want to be confused with a fan of another team because I'm in New York. It's likely I might be a Royals fan or a Ranger, like whatever hat I may be wearing. In Boston, I'll wear whatever the fuck. I'm in Boston. Like, there's no question who I represent. But outside of that bubble, yeah, you'll get some. When I made like the first video I ever made that blew up, this was 2010. I was wearing or it might have been, it doesn't matter. I was wearing a Tigers hat, and people were like, people not from Boston were like, "Oh, you're wearing a Tigers hat. You can't be repping Boston with a Tigers hat." There's an entire portion of Boston that's called Dorchester. The D hat is very well worn throughout that entire section of the city. We're talking about tens of thousands of people all have a Detroit Tigers hat. They don't know a single fucking Detroit. Maglia Ordonez, Brandon Inge, these people mean nothing to those people. And it's like, hey, shut the fuck up. How does that sound? Like, it's
Bro,
infuriating.
I was out watching the Bulldogs play. Whatever the fuck the SEC title game was. I had a Columbus Clippers hat on because, well, I was just all right. I'm not rooting for nobody. So I just want to clear. I'm not rooting for nobody. I'm just here to have fun and drink tequila. All right. And then, bro, do you understand that no less than like 6 people asked me about the Columbus? I'm like who's on your hat? What's going on with them? I'm like, lady, I am 5 tequila shots deep. Do you think, even if I was sober, I couldn't tell you what the fuck is going on with them? Do I look like now I can tell you what's going on with them? I just wear the hat because it looked good, man.
Yeah. Like, when was it? Like, I know you have one currently, but like the Lake Elsinore Storm hat, the one with just the eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like that, I feel like that hat got huge like 03, 04. No one knew what that was. It was just a sick hat. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, just I can't remember. I think it's one of the Braves minor league teams. They're becoming the Emperor Penguins this upcoming season. Unbelievable hat. More Penguins, like Youngstown State's the Penguins. There needs to be more Penguins. And like when you just said the Bulldogs, that could have been fucking 75 teams. Like, enough
Right.
with the if you're a new team coming out, I don't care the sport. I really don't care what sport it is. There should be, you can't be the Tigers, you can't be the Bulldogs. Like,
Everybody's a
there's
fucking Tigers, dude.
that's
Everybody's
what
a
I mean.
Tigers.
There's like
Everybody's a
seven
Bulldog.
seven things that everyone is. Like like Cardinals. Cardinals are huge. There's so many animals. Spiders,
There's a
wildly
lot of
unrepresented.
hawks, right?
Ton of hawks.
A lot of hawks.
But like, spiders are terrifying, grossly underrepresented in the sports world.
I
Like, I
agree.
even respect Georgia Tech for going with the Yellow Jackets. Bees are terrifying. Nobody likes bees. They're horrifying. Very integral to human life, but horrifying nevertheless. I don't understand polar bears. I understand it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't be like the Arizona polar bears unless you're going for like deep irony. But there's just so
Right.
many. Like the Utah Jazz are the prime example of like what the fuck happened. I understand they
Great,
were in New
great,
Orleans
great. I'm glad you brought that up.
and they moved there. Back when we were doing mixtape, I had Trig, our artist, mock up the Utah Yeti. You talk about a slam dunk. Like, A, you don't have to add the S. I like that they already don't have an S. Like, it's just the Z. Yeti doesn't need an S. Already good there. It's still 4 letters. And then you could bring back the mountain jerseys, and it makes sense. Watching the finals in 97 and 98, when I was 8 and 9 years old, and seeing Jazz up against some clip art mountain range was the most confused I've ever been as a human being. Like, what are we talking about?
It annoyed me as a kid, and then when I found out the story about it, it enraged me because I'm just like Utah Jazz just it sounds wrong, let alone getting actually into the nitty gritty of why it's wrong. Utah and Jazz next to each other just has never sounded right. And then once you get older and you hear the story, and it's like, wow, this is some bullshit. And well, here we are.
the when it was like New Orleans was the Hornets for a while, and then we had the Charlotte Bobcats. Like, what a gross time in NBA history where it was just like, yeah, give them Hornets back. I don't know why New Orleans had to yet again pick another team name. The Jazz should have come up like they haven't won anything. You know what I mean? I can understand if they racked up 7 rings while they were the Utah Jazz. They haven't, and they never will. They
Wow.
changed that name.
Wow,
I
you
think
seem
their
confident in that.
fortunes.
You seem confident they'll never win anything.
What's going to change?
Maybe they draft a superstar at some point and they get some luck, do some
But
good
they're
team building and win.
part of their problem is what's the highest pick they've had? Derek Favors? They've never had the 1 pick.
That's fair. They haven't really bottomed out a lot.
No, they're kind of like the Western Conference Pacers. Like
Yeah, they
they're
don't really
always
bottom out a
around
lot.
that 8 seed.
So it's
Yeah.
like
So
you
it's
have to really get some luck in your favor.
Deron Williams was what, 4, 5, somewhere around there?
I think he was 3.
No, Chris Paul was 3.
Good point. Good point. You're right. I don't know where he went. He definitely went after that. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think it was 5 because it was
5,
Marvin
yeah.
Williams went to. I knew we were talking about the 05 draft today, so I'm ready for this. It was Bogut, Bogut, Marvin Williams, Chris Paul, and maybe D. Will went right after him at 4. Regardless, at that point when New Orleans was getting out of the Hornets, or when they were giving the Hornets back to Charlotte, that's when the Jazz should have looked in the mirror and been like, all right, you guys get Jazz back. New Orleans Jazz makes so much more sense when they go with the Mardi Gras jersey, such a cleaner look.
No, Williams went 3, man.
Did he?
Yeah.
He went ahead of Chris Paul.
Yes.
I don't hate
I
it.
I don't know why. I didn't think that was the case either. Bro. All right. Yeah. No, actually, I knew that was the case because Marvin went 2. That's right. And Bowie went 1.
Right. That's where I thought was
Right.
the fuck up. Was
Right.
that right above Chris
Darren
Paul?
went 3. Yeah.
But D. Will was a hell of a player.
He was. I feel like he's one of them dudes that you're gonna have to like explain in like 10, 15 years because he just fell off the face of the planet. Like we don't hear nothing about him anymore. We don't see him anymore. You just have to explain. Yo, Darren Williams. There was a time where he was up there. You have to explain this to your kids and shit. Like there was a time he was up there.
He was a problem. I remember he was like one of the first guys too to be like, I'm not going to be the 15th man. I'll just go to Turkey and be a god over here for a little bit. Like he had the Boost Mobile banner that got unfurled. It was a whole production over there. But the reason we're talking about 2005 NBA players is because the MLB offseason refuses to do anything still. Yamamoto signed. He had his press conference today. Great.
I saw a quote from.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy. I'm happy for you that you guys landed Yamamoto just like you guaranteed. How does he fit into the rotation? Do you think he takes that A spot as the opening day starter? Or we know Garrett Cole loves Yamamoto. He was like, no, pay him much more than me. So do you think he'll give him that number 1 ace spot too? Or
How would you like me to approach this? Because we could go the short way, we could go the I talk for 20 minutes way, we could go somewhere in between. How would you like me to approach this?
I would just like the truth. Like I don't want you pretending this didn't happen. If that's what you're
Oh,
gonna
no,
do, you
I
can save
came
it.
here with the express intent to not pretend this didn't happen because I have shit to get off my chest. But first of all, I understand what these pressers are for. I understand intro pressers are for two things: softball questions and lies. I understand what they are for, and I'm not here to argue otherwise. That said, I saw a quote quite literally right before we got on here, and I saw Yankee fans quote tweeting it. It's Yamamoto says, I would have come here even if Shohei didn't sign here. What in the fuck is he supposed to say? He has no choice but to say that. What was he going? You know what? Yo, I was definitely gonna sign with the Yankees, and then Big Shohei came through, and the Dodgers came through with the bag, and I changed my. What was he supposed to say? What was? Listen, I believe him. I'm not saying that he's lying. He has no reason to
Sure.
really lie here, and everybody wants to go to the fucking Dodgers. I get it, sure, but like taking anything from press conference quotes in general, especially introductory press conference quotes, is insane. All right, got that out of the way. Speaking of post Yamamoto signing quotes, we have the Yankees and their shit from last week. First of all, uh, the fucking Jack Curry dropped the news, and within like minutes, we had all kind of details about what the Yankees offered, what they did, what they
Right.
didn't do. They couldn't wait to defend themselves.
For
That
sure.
and I understand that to a degree. I think it's pathetic personally, but I think. But I get it. Whatever. Like it's $1 billion corporation. They're gonna defend themselves. They feel like they owe it to the fans. Da 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 da. Okay. Then it came out. They offered 10 for 300. This, that, and the third. This they made the third best offer. It's 300 versus $325 million. Yes, technically it was the third best offer, money wise. Technically speaking, 300 is less than 325. Even though I've seen a lot of people try to argue otherwise, which
I thought you were about to. That's where I was
no,
getting
no, no.
nervous. I
I
was
can
getting
count.
nervous.
No, 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 no. I'm not going to embarrass myself. Well, not on this topic. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I understand that 325 is a bigger number than 300.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm. A
Contract
lot of people
structures,
didn't understand that. Like a lot of
buddy.
people were
This
struggling.
AAV shit is like, brother. One number is bigger than the fucking other. Like you could argue contract structures if you want. I am not there. I don't want to. I don't have the desire to. Like the Yankees offered more money in the first 5 years. That is technically true. The Dodgers backload the contract because of course they did. They're the fucking Dodgers. That's what they do. They backload shit. All right, because they're gonna handle things on the back end if you get my drift. But regardless, so the Yankees they leaked that stuff, but whatever. The offer being 10 for 300 with 200 being in the first 5 years before an opt out, I have no problem with any of that shit. Then a couple days pass. People are coping how they cope. Me, I shrug. It's disappointing. I move on. Then a quote drops on the timeline, and somebody asks me, and it's like, oh, the Yankees felt 300 was the right number to offer. Which, okay, shrug at that part of it. They didn't feel comfortable. Why they didn't match what the Dodgers offered is they didn't feel comfortable giving him more than Garrett Cole. First of all, if you believe that, you're a fucking sucker. I don't even know how else to put it. You're a fucking sucker, and I mean that's exactly what they're aiming for when they leak bullshit like that. If you believe that, you're a sucker. See me, I'm a lot of things. I'm no fool. I'm not Boo Boo the fool. I don't know who it is, but it ain't me. All right, fine. First of all, why even drag Garrett Cole into this? He's minding his own business with his family, doing whatever the fuck he's doing in his off season. Mine is, oh, well, we didn't want to disrespect it. We didn't want to offer him more than get like. And then second of all, it's like, bro, if Yamamoto came back to y'all hat in hand, like, listen, I will sign right now if you give me one fucking red cent more than Garrett Cole. Do you think anybody watching this think the Yankees would be like, hold on a sec, we'll get Garrett on the line and we'll clear it with him? No, they would fucking sign him. What are we doing? They would fucking sign him right. And just Garrett Cole's a fucking union guy. You think he really? First of all, besides the competitive stuff, as long as the guy could pitch, Garrett Cole's not going to give a fuck if he makes 1 cent more, 1 million more. He just wants to win. Fine. He's a
Not a lot of
fucking.
proof to that, but okay.
Knock it off. He's a big fucking union guy. I'm fairly certain he's not going to care. And quite frankly, I'm fairly certain he probably rolled his eyes when he saw that shit because everybody else with sense did, let alone the guy involved in the fucking spin control that the Yankees were trying to do. And it's just the Yankees just you lost. It's fine. People want to play in LA. It's not. If you had lost to the Detroit Tigers, all right, I can understand why you might want to do some spin control. Okay, that's pathetic. Everybody want to be in LA. The long and the short of this is, LA. You want to talk about the baseball part? They are more desirable than you. You want to talk about some people want to live in LA. Some people like LA more than New York. Some are vice versa. A lot of people love LA. It's a desirable location. Look at the fucking Lakers. The Lakers have fallen ass backwards into free agents my whole life because I want to live in LA. That's all that for the last 10 years. That's basically been the only selling point the Lakers have had because they've been pathetic otherwise. But I'm not gonna go too far with that one. Either way, it's just why can't you just take your loss and move on? Steve Cohen gave a long-winded recap of why they failed, which that wasn't even necessary, but at least we're like, hey man, I tried. I did all that I could. The guy signed elsewhere. I can respect that. We didn't need 5,000 words, but I can respect that shit. Like at least you're just like, all right, that's the long and the short of this shit. You offered $300 million. You offered 200 the first 5 years. You made a very good offer. He didn't want to be on your team. What likely happened, based on me hearing shit behind the scene and just me putting two and two together, Yamamoto likely came back to them, like, hey, or not came back to him. He's like, hey, the last offer is 325. The Yankees realized what was going on. Like, okay, we are not going to win a bidding war. All we're going to do is make him richer to go to another fucking team. So we're going to just, you got it. You win. That's like what happened here. Go ahead.
I hate that though, because who cares? Like that's the same with the Lamar shit. Like, oh, you're doing the contract write up for the Ravens, okay, and they're going to be paying him $300 million if that's really how they want to do this.
Sure.
And with Yamamoto, it's like, yeah, I'm going to drive it up to 400. Why would I help the Dodgers get him for cheaper? That doesn't make any sense.
That is fair, and I wouldn't operate like that if I was running the team. But they don't feel like they want to waste their time because they feel like, all right, he's going to go there. And also, if you're in the market for pitchers, whether it's now or later, that could affect you negatively. To be fair, it can. Like you might have to end up paying
more.
If you drive the price up to 375 for Yamamoto, you're like it. Let's say the Yankees are in the Corbin Burns market next year. You're gonna have to pay more for him too. On top of that, and you're gonna lose the bid anyway.
It changes every offseason. I don't buy that at all because I mean Xander Bogaerts got fucking $700 billion last year. Okay. You didn't see that happen for IKF today.
Whoa! Every
offseason isn't necessarily tied to the previous.
I can't believe you're about to turn me into a Xander Bogaerts apologist, putting him in the same sentence as IKF. What the
IKF's fuck? The only shortstop who signed this offseason. It was hard. No one else is signed to play baseball. I sent out a tweet last night and people thought I was only talking about the Red Sox, and it was mostly about the Red Sox, but I was like, it cannot be this hard to pay baseball players money to play baseball. Like it cannot be as hard as they're making it out to be. Like there's this bidding, I can't even call it a bidding war. There's 3 teams interested in Teoscar Hernandez. Like that's the big fucking storyline sizzling right now. What are we talking about? Someone either just pay him the money or don't. Like what? Why? How is this taking a month?
I thought
Teoscar Hernandez, he's good, like a good player. I have nothing against him. If he signs with the Red Sox, great. We have a right-handed bat that can hit in the middle of the lineup. Cool. I have no problem with that.
Right.
Fucking Teoscar Hernandez should not be taking up this.
Why
much
are we
time.
having a staring contest with Teoscar Hernandez? Why? Like, what? Good player, perfectly good player. Either fucking sign him or don't. Like, he's not. Right. If he's not going to cost you a 9-figure contract, what reason is there to sit there and be like, oh my god, we got to let the market play out? Just fucking sign the guy or don't sign him. Like, and I've been hearing about Teoscar for a week now.
You can't. Are you going to push it to 4 years? What's the difference? What is the difference between 3 and 4 years? No difference between 3 and 4 years. This is not a $500 million player. It doesn't matter. It
And
genuinely
quite
does not.
frankly, it wouldn't matter if it was a $500 million player. 1 more year is 1 more year, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
doesn't matter at all.
it does not fucking matter. If you're willing to pay him 3 for 60, why the fuck would 4 for 80 stop you?
Well,
Why?
it's like if you like that's where I think I have a problem with a lot of this. Do you think the player is good? Yes. That needs to be the whole conversation. I can't remember who it was. One of the GMs was like, it was more about trades. It was like, if you're still thinking about the guy you traded away, yeah, don't make the trade. If you like what you're getting back, it sucks if you're losing a good player, but it costs business to do business. So if you like what you're getting in return, you can't worry about what you're sending away. That's the same thing with free agency. Do you want the player? Okay, pay him. Simple, like very simple. It's
very
not as complicated.
especially when you're not paying him an exorbitant amount.
Right.
You're not. Like, this is not okay. This player might get 40, and we are a mid-market team. We're comfortable with 30 a year. Like, okay, fine. Do you? Teoscar Hernandez, like, we're having a week-long news leak, a week-long news leak about Teoscar Hernandez. Like, oh, they're interested. Are they willing to go the four? Just do it or fucking don't. Why are we doing this for Teoscar Hernandez?
But even if you're like your example, if you're a team that can only offer 30, then you just know you're out. You move on.
Right,
you know what I mean? Keep going.
Right.
It's so fucking stupid.
Right.
But yeah, Garrett Cole, bad teammate. Glad we covered that.
Knock it off. Knock it
Anti-union Cole.
off.
That's what people are calling.
I cannot believe they leaked that bullshit, and I can't believe that people actually ate that bullshit up.
I'm going to bring it up the rest of his career. There's no doubt in my mind.
It's so pathetic. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not some big deal, bro. Either win or you don't. But, man, it's just, couldn't you just take your L in silence?
I don't think it's necessarily we can't pay him more than Cole to make Cole uncomfortable. I think it's Hal saying, you think I'm carrying Judge, Soto's 30 and whatever he gets next year. Cole and Yamamoto, like, I'm not doing all 4 of those, which is what I said when you guaranteed he was coming to the Yankees. Like, they definitely tried to sign him. I think 30 a year was their max, and they weren't going to do any more than that.
I disagree, but
they literally offered 30 a year. Like, I don't know how you can disagree,
brother. If Yamamoto comes back to them like, yo, I will sign for 12 for 325, you think the Yankees would be like, no, can't do it?
I don't see any proof that they would have, but also 325
over 12. Yes, there is technically no proof. There's no proof. If you're willing to offer 10 for fucking 300 for somebody, I'm assuming you'd be willing to offer 12 for 325. Now, assigning clear-minded logic to Hal Steinbrenner is a dangerous game. Right. I understand this.
And if what you're saying is he did come back and said, hey, the new number is 325, and they stopped.
I'm just assuming that's what it was. Yes, I'm assuming.
I would agree that they wouldn't go that.
Like, I assume, I simply assume at that point that what's his Big Wolf, as I was calling him erroneously for like half a fucking pod episode. Big Wolf came back just like, let's see how much more we can get out of this before we finally call it a day. And then the Yankees like, all right, man, you win. You got the player, you got him, you win. Which we could agree or disagree with that method all we want. Fine, I don't really care. But this idea that we wanted to support our guy, like, Garrett Cole doesn't need fucking support. You paying him $324 million. Also, I even forgot this. He has a clause in his deal where he could opt out and get another year for 36 tacked on. Cole? He has a so whatever the bullshit they're talking, he would have the highest deal in a fucking calendar year anyway, on top of everything else here.
What a bad contract.
Shut up.
Just an objectively dumb contract.
It's not a bad contract.
That's just
Garrett Cole has
absolutely handcuffed this once great franchise.
Handcuffed.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
I can't believe they were like, oh, we can't justify paying this guy more than our ace. Like, you didn't have to tell us this. You really didn't. Like, what is it with this loser shit that they like to leak for just for the hell of it? Like, we're watching the Red Sox come back from down 0-3 to motivate ourselves to try and do this. Why would you tell us that? Like, at least that wasn't a leak. They just said it out their mouth, which is even crazier if you ask
Of
me.
course.
They just they
Sure.
camera telling us this, which is fucking insane. And it's like that's something you say for after you do it. And even
I
if
would,
nobody would care, why would we care?
there's no,
If they come back from 0-3 down and they tell us this, you think we're gonna look back at that shit 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down and we're like, you know what changed the season? When they looked at Big Poppy hitting 18 home runs against him in 2004, that's what changed the season. Dude, is that what we're gonna? No, nobody cares. We don't give a fuck.
I would. I would absolutely. If the Yankees had won a championship after that, I would have demanded Fenway Park got that banner. Absolutely.
There's nothing I have to say that's nice, so I'm just gonna not say anything at all. I'm not gonna tell you about yourself.
The
It's the
Yankees,
Christmas season. I'm not gonna tell
the
you. About
Yankees weren't done. They traded once. Mickey Mantle reincarnate Estevan Florial to the Cleveland Guardians for nothing. What did they get?
Cody Morris.
So they got rid of Estevan Florial, who I was told was going to be patrolling center field for the Yankees for the next 15 years. This is how prospects work. I'm not saying that just to shit on him.
Yes, you are.
Oh, well, no, I said just, like, that's part of it.
I know, but that's the 99% of it. Yes.
No, I probably 45 because the 55 is like some of these prospects can look like world beaters as prospects. And then if you don't, like, there is a point where their values diminish tremendously. Like the Yankees could have legitimately swung him as the centerpiece of a larger deal 2 years ago was probably the end of that, I would say. Last year.
It was longer than that.
Well, he's still like what, 17? Like he's
like 25.
Is he that old?
He gotta be. He's been around forever. He's gotta be.
How is he not a Rule 5 guy? Like I don't understand. Was he on the 40 man, I guess? Yeah.
He ran out of options.
He's out of options?
Yes, he's out of options.
How many at bats is it? This guy's got like 17 major league at bats.
I mean, he's been up and down like 87 times. So that probably has something to do with it.
That's absurd.
How old is he? He was born in 97. So yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't.
He's 26. 26.
That's absurd.
He's 26.
It was like 4 years ago when his value peaked.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, like that's where it's like right now, as I look at the Red Sox, I think this is a very important offseason, not for the franchise, because clearly they don't fucking think so, but they got a rare do-over with a prospect who had lost truly all of his value in Jarren Duran. I am not sold on him being an everyday answer. I think he is going to be a streaky hitter, average at best defender, plus speed for sure. Like he definitely has plus speed. But even when things get going right for him, he gets banged up, he gets an injury. He's jacked beyond belief. I think this would be like his trade value peaked probably 2-3 years ago, and then he started coming up. And that's really when you're risking someone's value, bringing them up to the big. It's either they're going to hit, and then you're not even going to want to trade him because he's good, or it's going to be like, oh yeah, this guy can't really hang at this level, which is what it looked like for Duran every time he came up prior to this season. This season, he was legitimately good to the point where I do believe he has value to another team, maybe even to the Red Sox. Me personally, I would be shopping the fuck out of him. We'd missed this opportunity with Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck came up, had a Gary Sanchez-esque August and September.
All right.
No, he did. He literally was setting Red Sox records for home runs by a rookie.
Let's show some respect.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Bob, then the next year he had an elite, like Bryce Harper-esque barrel rate for an entire season. So he didn't even fall off the face of the earth like Gary Sanchez did. So it is more disrespectful to Gary to compare him to Bob than vice versa. However, the Red Sox missed that opportunity to swing him because they believed in his barrel rate as opposed to like the actual results that were happening on the field. That's where it's like, we have Rafaela. He doesn't seem to have a ton of trade value at the moment, but his glove's legit. If you can swing Duran to like Miami or someone like that, who's always looking for cost controlled players, that makes a lot more sense to me than, he's our center fielder and just hand it to him when he really hasn't showed a lot to just have that at this point.
Question.
Yeah.
It, if the Red Sox were to be in the market for Jesus Luzardo, what
Yeah.
would be off limits for you?
Casas for sure. Like Anthony and Meyer. They could have like I would do like Duran, York.
I bet you would.
And then I mean I do believe in Nick
I
York. It's
bet you.
just
I don't think they do, but you do.
I don't know why they wouldn't. Like he does have like all of the traits you would want for like a slugging second baseman, and his defense is like how good of a defender do you need to be at second?
Fair.
So that's where it's like I do believe in his bat tremendously, and every year he's been in the minors or the AFL and hasn't been like extremely injured, he's raked. So that's where it's like I think he's still 21 because he was a high school kid during the COVID year. Yeah, so that's where it's like I don't think he has no value. It's just more when people talk Red Sox trades out of prospects. It's like, yeah, I don't want to trade Meyer. I don't want to trade Anthony. It's not like he's our number 10 prospect. He is our number 3 prospect. He's not nobody, but it's like people are more comfortable trading him. When it comes to trading with the Marlins, that would be the package I'd give for Luzardo because they also don't want him. They're trying to trade. They're using him. They don't want to trade Perez. They don't want to trade Cabrera necessarily. If Cabrera's on the table,
I don't know about that.
Well, they might be trying to trade Cabrera, which I'd be like, I would offer a similar package. I would probably incorporate Blaze as well if it's like, how do we get this done? Right. But it wouldn't be like York and Blaze Jordan. They could pick whichever one they like more.
For Cabrera or Luzardo?
Either.
You're not getting Luzardo for that.
Then I'm okay with that.
You're not getting Luzardo for that. Like you're gonna have to come off with somebody.
Listen, they were just trying to trade him for fucking Vinny P. Like I don't like. They've already told us his value.
That was a long time ago, was it not?
It's a fucking week ago.
No, I mean, not the blurb. The actual act was a long time ago. I thought they said that was during the season, or did I make that up?
No, they re-engaged, and that's why. Who the fuck did the Royals sign?
Because who?
Oh, they signed Waka. When they signed Waka, they were like they had a deal on the table for Luzardo. It was Vinny P for Luzardo, and they opted just to sign Waka. That's where it's like, all right, they've established that value. Okay. I don't know that Duran and Vinny P. I know it's very different positions, but offensively, I don't know that one's shown much more than the other.
Probably not. I mean, Vinny doesn't have a big sample size because he got hurt, so he doesn't have a big sample size. I think the prospect offensively is better, but prospects can be anything, as we've established. So who the fuck knows?
Yeah, so that's where it's like I would put in Duran in that spot. If they want Bobby Dahlbeck, I don't think like he has anything. Like he has no value. I'm not saying like that's the centerpiece of the trade. If they want him, go ahead. Like if they just want someone to play first and get at bats, he can do both of those things. I have no doubt.
I mean, he can hit 3 home runs, man. Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
it's no money, so and that's a Marlins
right. That's
staple,
what I mean. There's reasons why I could see why the Marlins would be enticed, but I also understand he's not the centerpiece. And then there's a sweetener with like, here's a lottery ticket. I don't even think it's like a crazy reach that York would be a good player for them. Or Blaze. Like I said, if they wanted one of the two, I'm not trading both. And that's where it's like Duran plus that to me is more than Vinny P, even removing my bias for the, like I've already just sat here and said, I don't really like this guy, but I do think like in terms of like objective value, especially if stolen bases are back in play is a thing that people like. Duran does have value there where Vinny doesn't. Obviously Vinny profiles more of a power guy than Duran, but Duran's no weakling either. Like he can get behind him.
I think Vinny personally is probably like a Walmart version of Casas. So,
right.
So that's where I land with regards to him and Duran. Like I think Duran, if you want to talk about an all-around player, it wouldn't shock me if he was better. Now, offensively, it would surprise me if he was better long-term than Vinny.
I think it's more like Vinny should theoretically have a higher OPS, but when you factor in base running and speed, that's where it's like, all right, now I have him and Jazz defense at the top of my lineup. Huh?
And defense on the other side of things. Yep. Oh, no, well, you know what? Actually, that's not even a point in Duran's favor.
Defensive first. Well, even defensive first base. Like, that's where it's a wash.
True. But like,
And it's more how do
in
the Marlins
my mind,
fit?
Durant was a better defender than he actually is, and well, I
Well,
remember what
he's
was going
gotten
on.
better. Like he was a disaster when he first came, like truly. And he was also a guy who moved from second to center. He's just not Mookie Betts. So
Yeah,
it takes a while for normal human beings to adjust. This last year, he wasn't a negative out there. He just wasn't like the Red Sox have had damn good center fielders the last 20 years. So he's been the worst of that bunch, but that's not really an insult when it's compared to like Jackie Bradley Jr.
I celebrated the day Jackie Bradley Jr. signed somewhere else. Well, God, I hated that guy. Woo,
He was
buddy.
unbelievable.
Oh, I hated that guy. Anytime you watch him go back to Tampa, it's like, oh, here the fuck we go. He's in a dead sprint, and it's like, there's no way he catches that, right? Oh, yes, he's gonna catch that. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's the worst.
Between he, Kiermaier, and who was the because Kiermaier was in Tampa then. So who was the Blue Jays' previous center fielder? Because he was an asshole too.
I guess it's as good as mine on that one, buddy.
Well, it was like three of the best defensive center fielders were all in the AL East. It was the Rays, the Red Sox, and Tampa.
Yeah, I don't remember who the fuck
Toronto.
the Blue Jays center fielder was, but I do remember Kevin Kiermaier going directly from Tampa to Toronto. I'm just like, come on, dog. Really? You couldn't just go somewhere else?
Very annoying.
You couldn't go somewhere else? Like there's so many other teams, man. And I'm sure a lot of people like center fielders who could go get it. And you just had to still stay in the fucking division.
Yeah, didn't care for that. But yeah, that's like Casas for Luzardo would be insane to me. Casas is so much better than Vinny, proven already, and I believe his ceiling to be higher. And I don't know if you've seen him lately. He's got cornrows now. He's got a beard. It's not a guy you can trade. It's not a guy you can just put on the market.
Au contraire, I think that's a good reason to trade him.
I think he is technically Spanish. Like I don't think he's a white. I don't think he's purebred white.
Okay, never mind. I'll retract my.
If he is, get him out of here.
Yeah, right. If he's just full on white, like, yeah, now you got to go, dog. No, if he's Spanish, like, all right, sure.
But that's where I'm at with them. And if the ask price is too much for Luzardo, that's where it's like, all right, well, what's Cabrera looking like? Because if Cabrera can be had for less, great. I feel like his ceiling's still higher. Whether or not he hits that ceiling's up to him. But if your entire offseason is like, hey, we got Andrew Bailey and Craig Breslow, we can fix anybody. That seems to be the smarter option anyway.
That's the perfect guy to try because his stuff is disgusting. He just cannot locate it.
You're right. So fix him. And if you can't do that, why did we do this? What are we doing? Like what's because so far Heim would have had a better offseason up to this point. No doubt in my mind. Oh, and you could have also just hired Andrew Bailey and kept your GM. Like that was an option too. So it's year one. I'm not trying to be too angry, but I'm still angry at ownership because they're the ones who are like, everything was Heim's fault. We're going to be different immediately. And it's been crickets. Like,
but they still have time.
They do, but it's like, what are they waiting for? Like,
what is anybody waiting for? To be fair to them, like to throw them like the
no, it's not to be fair
to
them.
Jackets.
29 other teams didn't say they were going full throttle this offseason. So you cannot compare the Red Sox offseason to the other 29 teams only to shit on them.
Okay,
you can't be like, well, to be fair to them, no one else has done anything.
I mean,
no one else said they were going to do anything.
To be fair, full throttle means different things to different people.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Much like you think guarantee means different things to different people. Full throttle means one thing.
All right, what's the statute of limitation on that? How long is that going to get thrown in my face, man?
Forever. Like, what do you mean?
Damn, forever? Damn.
You locked in. I tried to talk you off of it in real time. You locked in a very unlockable thing. Like, it was an insane thing to guarantee. Like the Twins against the Yankees in the playoffs guarantee that all day. Like that's as guaranteed as it gets. That's I would not try and walk you off that take. Saying like a guy nobody knows coming from a different country to play here for the first time is a guarantee to play for the Yankees was genuinely insane. Soto, I understood. Soto always felt like he was going to be wearing pinstripes. That was understandably a guarantee. Yamamoto was just like, maybe. Like, I don't know. Are they going to pay him the most? No. Then no, I don't know how they're going to get him.
Listen, I was forced to do that.
Not by me, so I don't.
I can't name names of who did it. I can't name names, but
Listen,
I was held against
Steinbrenner's
my
gonna
will. I was held against my will and forced to say that.
Steinbrenner's gonna pay you more if he's gonna have you out here looking like that.
He does. He does. We're going to talk about that.
The Red Sox can't be compared to the rest of the league not doing anything. I mean, the Royals have been signing a guy an hour since the offseason has started, so I don't want to hear about, oh, no one else can figure it out. The Diamondbacks signed Eduardo Rodriguez for a reasonable contract, nothing too crazy. The Cardinals, like the World Series was still going on. They're like, yeah, we've signed everybody. We're pretty much done this offseason. So I don't know. Like I'm going to pull up the athletic list just to see who's still available. It's most of them. I know a lot of Blue Jays fans or a lot of Yankees fans were upset that the Blue Jays brought back Kiermaier because now it means they're probably out on Bellinger.
Oh yeah, I was upset. I was upset.
But are you upset because you think the Yankees might still sign Bellinger?
No,
okay, I was just asking.
No, I thought I wanted the Blue Jays to give him $200 million like idiots. Is what I was hoping for. Even though honestly, the more we go, like the further we go into the offseason, like the less likely there's somebody going to overpay for that dude. Because I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have did it already. So even though saying that with the offseason moving at glacial speed is crazy, but they're gonna pay him $200 million. Somebody would have done it already. Like I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna sign like February 18th. I think that's what's gonna happen. They're just like, all right, man, enough. The market is what it is. I gotta sign a 1-year deal with somebody or a 4-year deal that's less than less than what I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if his number begin like I don't care about the number at all. Like, it doesn't affect me. I like the player. I understand there are risks.
Right.
I still like the player. So if the Red Sox sign Cody Bellinger, I'm going to be for it. Like everyone else is going to be furious. I'm not going to be like, oh, we did full throttle. Like that's not it either. But if they do that, I'm not going to be like angry.
A former MVP is not full throttle?
No.
What more do you want?
Pitching. They need multiple players.
Okay, so if they get him and Jordan Montgomery, that's full throttle?
I can't say that's full throttle either. No, it's
you said throttle. You needed pitching.
It's throttle. Yeah, they need more pitching. They need more than one. That's always
they got a new pitching lab. What do you mean they need more than one?
We do have a lab. It's true.
You have a pitching lab. Like you're supposed to be able to put together a 3, 4, and a 5 amongst your cheap options. That's what you're supposed to do.
We have those. We have 3, 4, and 5.
So you would have.
That's never been an issue.
You would have
the
Chris
issue's
Sale.
Never been 3 through 5.
You would have healthy Chris Sale, your 1.
5.
You would have Jordan Montgomery, and then you got to just put together the rest of the staff, and then you have MVP Bellinger roam in center field or right field or wherever the fuck they want to play him. What's the problem?
I'd be thrilled with that part of it.
That's not full throttle.
No,
that's crazy.
No, so
your standard is in Mars, bro. That's crazy. The bar is in Mars.
Listen, you thought the 27 Yankees were coming back to town, so I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about what teams are doing. Shohei Ohtani has signed. He is signed with the Dodgers. I don't know if people have heard. Aaron Nola re-signed with the Phillies like the day he started, like an asshole. With the Phillies
like in October.
What an asshole. Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers. Bellinger, extremely available. Maybe the most available person there is. Blake Snell, available. I still think for really no reason he's going to the Giants. Jordan Montgomery, wildly available. I haven't even heard Montgomery news lately. That's how available
he's so available. Very available.
Sonny Gray signed with the Cardinals decades ago. Matt Chapman, haven't heard a fucking peep about Matt Chapman news.
Very available.
Eduardo Rodriguez signed with the Diamondbacks. Josh Hader, I think he's still going to Texas, but who knows? I heard he might go to the Dodgers too. Nobody knows anything. Stroman's interesting because it seems like nobody wants him, and I don't fully understand why. In terms of pitchers, he always seems to get a reasonable deal every time he hits free agency, and it always has opt-outs in it. He re-hits free agency, and he goes through the same shit all over again. He's a good pitcher. He's an objectively good pitcher.
He's just boring. I think that's part of it. He's just
I don't
boring.
know. I've always liked Stroman. With the Blue Jays, I like Stroman. He was good last year until he got hurt. Like borderline elite last year until he got hurt. I wouldn't be upset if Stroman ended up here. The Red Sox need pitchers. He is a pitcher.
I mean,
Seems simple enough.
I hope they get to a point where we could agree that they're going that they went throttle. The throttle was full enough for you.
I'll listen if they full throttle in a year. Ohtani and Soto were available. They got weren't even in the conversation for either of them. It's hard to imagine there's a fuller version of throttle that they could attain at this point.
Do you really think it would have made sense for the Red Sox to pay Shreyas? I didn't even get that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shota Imanaga available. I don't know when his posting fee is expired. Although he's 30, so I know he is posted, but it's also different with different ages. I don't know that he has the same deadline that Yamamoto had.
I don't think so. I think I thought I had saw something about he's going to start meeting with teams after New Year started. I want to say I read that, but regardless,
he's not in a rush.
Yeah, clearly fucking not. That is true. Yes, nobody is.
And again, like we've said, he's been projected, depending on who you read, as an ace or like a guy who maybe can pitch in someone's bullpen. So we'll see. We'll see.
He could be an ace. He could be a mop-up guy. He could be a lot of things, according if you believe what you read.
Rhys Hoskins available again, very light on the room. That's the other part too. Like I brought up Teoscar Hernandez, one because he's been tied to the Red Sox, but two, I haven't seen shit for anybody. Nobody. I haven't seen any rumors.
Bro, I have heard Rhys Hoskins' name on this show, and that's it. I haven't heard his name outside of this show at all. Like, at all. And it's crazy to me because he's not going to be expensive. I don't even think you're going to have to sign him to a long deal either. And there are teams who could use a DH. Like, if you don't want to play him in the field, there are teams who could use a DH. And I'm sure there are teams who could use a first baseman if you want to play him there. And the man can hit. So I'm failing to see what's going on there.
This is where, like, you see Rhys Hoskins, and I understand it's different. He's coming off the injury. But like this whole staring match that's been going on between the Mets and Pete Alonso is very funny when you see a guy just available. Like, there's no qualifying offer attached. Like, he's just extremely available. And Alonso's like, I want to reset the market. The Mets like, we're going to trade you. And he's not going to reset the market, and no one wants to trade for him. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
I don't. Pete's talking about he wants to get, I forget the number that was, I think it was like 225. I'm just like, where do you sit and see a market where you're going to get that? And yes, closed mouths don't get fed, blah, blah, blah. You have to ask, cool. But how realistic is that really? Like Freddie Freeman, who is a considerably better player, like,
sure,
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. And granted, he was older when he hit free agency, to be fair. He got what, like 6 for 160?
Something like that, yeah.
And Pete Alonso's going to get 2. And Pete's not young either.
It's not right. Like, I was going to say, I don't think it's that much of an age difference from
like he's going to hit free agency when he's 29, which perfectly reasonable age, but he's not young.
Right. No. Candelario, a guy who couldn't get an offer last year, signed with the Reds, a team that didn't need an infielder. Still don't really understand that.
The Reds have like 17 people who can play on infield.
They only have infield.
Ellie's gonna play every day, I'm assuming. McLean's gonna play every day, I'm assuming, and then you have the Steer fella, who's I think he plays first, and then you have Candelario, then you have India's like
Encarnacion Strand.
I totally forgot about that dude. Yes, Encarnacion
Marte.
Yes, they have a million fucking infields. Like, what are they trying to accomplish? Like, maybe they just play him at first. And then they DH CES. I don't know.
Listen, Lucas Giolito's the guy I've seen the most rumors about recently. So it's weird to see the middle of the free agency class get more hype. Like, teams are aiming. I get teams don't want to overpay for the top of what they perceive to be a weak market. I understand that part of it. It's not like these guys stink. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are good players at the top of this market. So that's where I don't understand all this squabbling. Giolito's another guy who's been tied to the Red Sox. I'd be fine with Giolito. I'm not gonna. That's not throttle. That's just a guy who can throw forward that we don't really have one of those. Like,
he was a former top 3 Cy Young finisher, I think.
he was like 4 years ago.
He was. So this, I don't know, man.
So was Kluber last year. It's not too different.
Kluber's like 86 years old, man. You just hard to please.
Giolito's 29. I do think there's reason to believe there will be a bounce back for Giolito. Him pitching poorly for the
I would take him on the Yankees in a heartbeat.
For the White Sox and Angels last year doesn't really concern me tremendously.
Yo, the White Sox are so pointless. It's funny.
So are the Angels. That's where it's like Teoscar Hernandez. When I saw the Angels were involved in the bidding, if he goes to the Dodgers, because they're also lurking for him as well. If he picks the Dodgers, I'll sleep completely fine at night. If he goes to the Angels over the Red Sox, like, what are we doing? What's the point? What's the point?
I mean, y'all lost a pitcher to the Royals already, so I mean,
the Royals are an up and coming team. And who did we lose to the Royals?
Lugo.
Oh, I thought you were talking about someone who went from us to the Royals.
Oh no, lost out.
Yeah, no,
lost
you're right.
Bid.
They did snag Seth Lugo from us under the darkness, a cover of night. Jung Ho Lee signed with the Giants. Michael Walker and Seth Lugo are the ace and co-ace for the Royals. Jorge Soler is still floating out there. He's like I love Jorge Soler. He's never been on my team. I think that's part of why I love Jorge Soler. As streaky as they come, as cool as they come, when he came up with the Cubs and he would hit that home run and he'd have 17 chains swinging back and forth in the breeze.
Fire.
Unbelievable.
So fire. Vibes king. Jorge Soler.
Big time. To me, he's like the world's largest contract year guy that's ever existed. So if you want to give him multiple years, they all need to be opt-outs, just so you're getting the absolute best out of
just player options after every year. I mean, team options, whatever, after every year.
All of them. It's like, listen, we'll give you 80 over 4, but you're going to earn all of them.
There's going to be team options after every single fucking year, buddy.
He and Teoscar back-to-back. Lourdes Gurriel re-signed with Arizona. Mitch Garver, I guess that was news. He signed with Seattle on Christmas Eve. Good for them. I think it was 2 for 24. Nothing crazy.
Mitch can hit.
Yeah.
He can hit. That's about all I got to say about he can hit. They needed a hitter. Good for them.
Yeah, they did it. Jordan Hicks is still available. No idea what he's going to get. People are either all in or all out on Jordan Hicks. I like him because he throws really hard. That's enough for me.
Right. I'm same. He throw like he's throwing triple digit singers. Sign me up. Thanks.
And then it's like JD Martinez. I assume he'll get another 1 year from someone. I kind of assume the Dodgers don't want to go multiple years for Teoscar, and JD just goes back there.
Where's he going to play?
DH? Oh, Shohei's there.
Right. Where's he going to play?
I do think Shohei will play some outfield.
Really?
I do. Not like every day, but I do think he'll be out there. He owns the franchise at this point. When it's like when you take out $1 billion loan from the bank. If you owe them $10, the bank owns you. When you take out $1 billion loan, you own the bank. Ohtani owns the Dodgers.
Maybe he does. I was gonna tweet something earlier asking like, do we think we're gonna see a two-way player in the sense of pitching, hitting, and fielding? Do we think we're ever gonna see that in our lifetime? I doubt it.
His name is Isaiah Kiner Falefa. He just signed today.
This show had a great run, man. Love doing it with you.
Did he or did he not do all those 3 things?
Yes, bro.
So yes, we have seen it. Thank you. Didn't the Yankees have someone in their system that threw with both hands? Whatever happened to that fucking guy?
I remember that, and I couldn't to show you where he's at. I couldn't tell you what his name is. So
no, it began with a V. I know that. I know his last name was a
I don't
V,
remember what the fuck his
but I
name is.
can't remember.
But
Obviously, he
I
was.
remember, I do remember they were talking about the ambidextrous pitcher. I was like, there's no way
Yeah.
this works. There's
Oh,
no way this works.
one of the top prospects, I think he's at Mississippi State, is ambidextrous, and he throws gas with both. He's
Really?
unbelievable.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need to see that. I need to see
Yeah.
that.
He's sick. That was the problem. Like the Yankees guy, I think he was okay as a righty and threw like in the 70s with his left. That's not going to cut it.
That
You
doesn't
got to
fucking
really
count. All due respect, that doesn't fucking
listen.
count.
I could throw okay, like I'm talking about right now. I could throw it forward with my right. With my left, it may bounce right in front. Like I'll look like 50 Cent out there if that's how I try and throw with my left. So I'm not going to knock someone for only being able to dial it up to 70.
Yeah, I will if you go call him a prospect and tell me he's ambidextrous. No, he just he throw a little bit with his left hand. That's all that is.
Kershaw's still floating out there. No idea where he's going.
Come on, yes, you know where he's going.
Not necessarily. I don't think Texas is out of the question.
I do.
Right.
I think he either plays for the Dodgers or he retires. Maybe I am out there with it, but they still need arms. So
I want to see how close he is to any milestones.
Like they still need arms, man.
So Kershaw's 210 and 92. If he were closer to 300, which he's not particularly close at all.
Are we ever going to see another 300 game winner? I don't think so, bro.
No.
Those days are long gone.
I think where you might see it, and it would be a stretch, but if someone came on the scene as a starter, was dominant pretty immediately, like a couple 20-win seasons, and then kind of transitioned to like a seventh inning guy, but in the sense where he was like Scott Shields, like pitching truly every night and just had a lot of opportunity. And you'd have to do that for like a decade. Like it couldn't be a couple of years. Like you would really have, there used to be a lot of relievers who would stack like 10 wins a year. Who was Alfredo Aceves? Who was the reliever who pitched for the Yankees and Red Sox? Is that what it was?
I mean, there's multiple of those. Ramiro Mendoza.
No, but one of them, when he came up with the Yankees, he had the highest winning percentage ever through like 20, 25
that's definitely Aceves.
Yeah, like that's the kind of like, and he only was able to maintain that for like 3 years. You know what I mean? Like he had 10 wins with the Yankees in 09. He had 10 wins with the Red Sox in 11. He started 9 games over that stretch. Like he was a reliever. He was a swing reliever, but he found himself in situations to get wins. Someone would have to do that for
and just have insane luck on like insane luck.
Yeah, well, it would be like if you, since pitching is like there are going to be more Blake Snells who are only going 5 innings. Like a lot of those guys get knocked out in the 4 2/3. They don't even qualify. So if you're that first guy in, you go 1 1/3. That's where I could kind of see it, but I don't think it would be via a traditional starter.
Same.
There'd have to be some sort of hybrid like that, and even then, I just don't really see it. But you talk about the Dodgers needing arms. They have so much goodwill right now with their own fan base. The rest of the league kind of hates them. With their own fan base, they have a ton of goodwill. There are 2 pitchers out there with Dodgers ties who no one's trying to sign right now, and Trevor Bauer and Julio Urias. I'm not counting the Dodgers out on either of them. More so Bauer, I would count them out.
Bauer, bro.
No, but they might sign Urias because
they might.
This wasn't his first incident.
Right. I can't speak to what he did. I didn't read into it. Like I know what he was accused of, didn't read into it. Maybe they sign him, maybe they don't. The other fella? Oh, they're not signing that dude. The other fella, brother, nobody is touching that dude with a 10-foot pole. Nobody is signing that dude. Like, and the weirdest sect of baseball Twitter is the dudes who dick ride him all day, but not gonna.
Those people stink.
Yes, they do.
There's a team out there, like people are always looking for these market inefficiencies. If you're just like, we're just going to sign all of the worst people, like all of them, we're just going to get them. Listen, we know they're talented. We're going to get them for below market value. We're going to have 3 aces. They may all stink as humans, but boy, oh
Listen,
boy, can they
the thing
pitch.
with the Urias thing is you could sign him and just hope for your sake, the Dodgers' sake, that he just doesn't get accused of anything else. People would they'd forget about that
Sure.
quickly enough.
They did the first time. When I brought up that was the second time it had happened, people were like, didn't even know the first one happened.
Right, because it got swept under the rug so fast. Like it just didn't register nationally. It just didn't. And then the second one came and it's like, all right, that one stuck a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they could bring him back. They ain't bringing back Trevor, but they could bring back that dude and just be like, all right, man, just hope that he doesn't do anything else. And then people just forget in like 5 months, which maybe they will, maybe they won't.
It's super on the table. Especially if they wait for like the season to start. You know what I mean? And just sign him in like May.
Just drop it on a random Friday afternoon. Just be like, Friday evening, like, oh yeah, the Dodgers signed Julio. Oh, Friday night party. Yeah, let's do that.
Or they wait for the Dominican government to catch Wander Franco, and then they announce it right after that. They're like, by the
way, yo, don't give them no ideas, man. They might do that shit. Wander Franco has been apprehended by Dominican government.
Yeah, we've signed 3 pitchers. Don't Google them.
don't bother. We won't even give you the name. Just understand that we signed them. Just
you'll see them.
You'll see them.
You'll see them when they're
both of them used to play for us too. You'll see them.
Yeah, reunion of sorts. Yeah, that's.
Yo, the Rays giving that guy the richest contract in their franchise history is bananas, and they're going this way is bananas, bro.
Unless they like outright knew, which I have no reason to believe they did. It's tough.
It's like there's not a lot of words for it, man. It's just assuming you didn't know. Like I am heavy on the cynicism in general.
Sure.
I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, quite frankly, because the opposite is disgusting. So I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. The opposite is horrifying. So I'm just going to assume that they did not know. And then this, like, you get this guy, you sign him to a big deal. Everything is going well. He looks like he's going to become one of the best players of baseball. I mean, he was actually one of the best players of baseball. And then all of a sudden on a random Saturday in the middle of fucking July, now we're talking about like, yo, what's he doing in his spare time? Tough.
But catch the next Thunder Hornets game where Josh Giddey squares off against Miles Bridges. A nice, wholesome sport. Nothing bad's ever happened over there.
All right, man. All right.
Listen, I'm not going to call out other people and then just pretend everyone else doesn't give a fuck. Like, people just don't largely give a fuck.
No, that's very true. And I mean, the whole Giddey stuff was weird because then you had the Malika Andrews stuff, and it's like, oh, how did she report it? This is like, why you guys are more upset about an ESPN reporter than the guy who was allegedly engaging of acts of pedophilia, and you don't see anything wrong with this? That's insane.
No, people have terrible priorities, and I mean, I'll call them out. Like, there's been no talk, none, about Kristaps since he got to Boston. Like, you talk about swept under the rug.
Zero. And quite frankly, there hasn't been in a while. Like, that shit got swept under the rug a while ago.
That was forever ago. Not that it makes it better, but like, it's to the point where I say forever ago to the point where I don't even remember all the details. Like, I remember it hit, and then they just kind of shipped him to Dallas. They're like, we don't want to deal with this.
Right. That's precisely how it happened. Yes. Then they had a settlement. That was that. I mean, we didn't hear about it again.
Yeah. And this isn't excusing shit, but some stuff doesn't even get to that point. Like, it just gets swept under the rug. There's not even the settlement part of it.
Right.
But yeah, there are bad people everywhere you look. So I think at some point GMs go, "What's one more?"
Of course they do. They don't care. I mean, shit. I'm a Yankee fan, bro. Aroldis Chapman was the whole cycle of the Aroldis Chapman thing is disgusting because they traded a bucket of baseballs for him because he was accused of domestic violence.
Right.
Then sold high on him after the fact, after people forgot what it was done. Then he had played for them for a year or whatever, and then he traded him off for Gleyber Torres, and then signed him back, and it was just all bad. And people see the flames on the fucking scoreboard at Yankee Stadium and everything. Everybody's just like, "Yay, roll this!" Like,
Right.
fuck that guy.
Right. And then the other guy I've seen tied to the Red Sox way too much is Domingo Germán, who also stinks. Like, it's just.
And the thing is with Domingo Germán, like, it's not even just the domestic violence issues either. Like, it's not even just that. He stinks overall. So like you have to look past like several different issues here. Not just like, all right, he beat his wife twice, or excuse me, he was caught beating his wife twice. All right, we could push that aside, bro. He might be a shit teammate too. On top of this,
Terrible.
And like he's getting drunk in the fucking sauna and shit, and like what? Like he threw a perfect game and then got excused from the team a month within the next month. That is insane. It
really is.
Do you understand how shit you have to be to throw a fucking perfect game and get excused within the next month? Mind you, this is the same team who saw him slap his wife at a team event.
Yeah.
And kept him for like 3 years after that. And they were like, "No, we can't do this no more." That's like not even a month after he threw a perfect game. Like whatever they reported, that's not all that happened. Trust me.
No, of course.
It's definitely not all that happened. Like one stupid drunken incident, like don't get me wrong, being drunk in a team sauna, in the sauna on team facilities is insane anyway. But if that was the one-off, like, okay, that was the last strike is what it was. They just didn't report the first two.
Yeah, it's every team has them. That's like I wish it wasn't the case, but
I hope the Red Sox do sign him though. With all due respect, hope they do sign him.
I mean, you talk about the opposite of full throttle.
Well, he threw a
although if they sign Germán, they better sign Bauer and Urias too. Like at least get the good shitheads if you're gonna get one of them. Get the ones that are actually good at baseball. Because that's the other part with Germán. He's not that good. Like he's not even that good. Was that perfect game against the fucking A's?
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yes,
that doesn't count.
Yes, bro. Yes, he threw a perfect game against the A's. And like and whoever sees this and wants to say anything, whatever, say it. Like I was actively rooting against it. It was like number one, fuck that guy. Like I don't the moment being what I've seen too. Like I'm not pressed to see another perfect game. Number one, he stinks. Number two, it wasn't even against a good opponent. Like if it was shit. Not even against a major league caliber opponent. Fuck good. A major league caliber opponent. If this was damn near any other team, I would have just sat there in silence. I was actively rooting against the shit. And mind you, it takes a special breed of hating to do that because this was a West Coast game. So I'm sitting there 12:45 in the morning on like a Wednesday, just like, yo, please somebody the A's get a hit. Please. Fuck that guy.
No.
Fuck that guy.
They said we won't do it, no matter what.
Right. Fuck that guy.
So yeah, avoid the known terrible people because I'm sure there are plenty of terrible ones that always slip through the cracks. It is what it is. But a little throttle, an ounce of throttle is all I'm asking for. I don't even want full throttle at this point because that would be overpaying bad players. Like that's how they would excuse. And this is where I know, because I was talking about this with someone earlier. He talked about how the Dodgers obviously signed Yamamoto. The Mets and Yankees offers came out. The Red Sox offer had to have been so shit that they weren't even comfortable leaking it themselves. I can't even imagine 10 for 150 with some Penguins tickets. Like, what the fuck did they offer that was so bad? And like, they were like, we can't even save fit. Like, at least the Yankees were like, listen, we offered 300. If it wasn't enough, so be it. Like we were in the conversation. The Red Sox were like, oh man, we We weren't even close.
Bro, they probably didn't even talk after that, after the first offer. Like yo, we
No.
got 150 mil for you. You got 150 mil for who? Because it ain't me.
A year
Right,
per season?
right, 150 mil for what total? For how many years? 2? Like no, 10. Like bye, lose my number.
Yeah, I can't. I imagine it was in the twos. I don't think it was actually 150. I imagine it was in like the low twos, just to say that they did it.
But I'll say this though, and this is gonna sound, given what the Yankees said after the offer leaked, I prefer the Red Sox brand of taking their L than the Yankees brand of taking their L. Just shut the fuck up altogether. I prefer their brand of taking. If the Yankees just left it at like we offered $300 million, cool. Like you felt you had to explain yourself and give us what happened. Cool. Once you didn't want to pay somebody more than our eight. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. You lost. Shut up. What you doing?
Listen, the Red Sox will leak like, oh, we offered 340 for Seth Lugo. So it's not like we don't say stupid things all the time to save face, but that tells me like this offer was so bad that they don't even think people would buy that they were legitimately even trying here.
Like they offer
Because they will
offer
sprint to the
300-400.
presses.
Yeah,
They'll
300,
sprint
yeah.
sprint to the presses. Like people will still be like, well, they offered 300 million for Mookie Betts. What else were they supposed to do? Pay him the other 50 he wanted? Like it wasn't
it seems pretty easy, especially when you consider Mookie was just asking for X, and you could have just given him X. And it's not like he ain't worth X. Like it's not like he ain't worth $350 million. He's clearly a Hall of Fame caliber baseball player, and he's still one of the 5 or so best players in the sport. So you just didn't want to pay him, and they leaked that bullshit, and then they still had fans eating that shit because fans are gonna do what fans do.
Yeah, it sucks. I keep refreshing, waiting to see if anything happened. Of course, it hasn't. Nothing.
No, something will happen tomorrow. That's how the show always fucking goes.
That's true. Yamamoto did sign the day after.
The day after. I'm just saying, like, come on, though. Really? You just couldn't sign the day before, like the hour before we get on? That'd be perfect. Why can't anybody consider us, man?
Did you believe Pat McAfee's reporting about Yamamoto?
Fuck no. No, absolutely not. No. No. And quite frankly, I knew I didn't know, but I thought from the Yankee side of things, if he had signed with the Yankees, Jack Curry would have been the first to report it.
Sure.
He was the first overall, so great.
Yeah, right.
He was
still
first overall.
First.
Still was first. So, like, I was just like, all right. I turned his notifications on, and I'm just like, all right, I'll ignore everybody else. Like, well, I have Passan's notifications on. It's like one of them two will get it. Cool, but yeah, no. And also, I enjoyed the episode you did after the Yamamoto signing. Can you display for me like what the Dodgers did this offseason?
Right on the table.
Full meat. Right
all of it.
Dog, I rewound that so many times. Not gonna lie to you, I laughed my head off watching that shit. That was great.
I call it like I see it.
No, they have. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, yo, all of it right on the table.
It's impossible to say otherwise.
And if my favorite team wasn't the one that they victimized for Yamamoto, it'd be so much easier to enjoy this and just laugh at all the whining. I'm still gonna laugh at the whining. I find a lot of it to be ridiculous, especially if you root for a big market team and you're whining about the Dodgers. You sound like a bitch. With all due respect,
such a bitch.
With all due respect, like I saw the Yankee fans, oh well, you better win it all, brother. The Yankees still have a higher payroll than them. What the fuck are you talking about? The Dodgers spent $1 billion fucking this offseason in total. And the Yankees still have a higher payroll than them. And it's not by like $2 either. It's by like $30 million if I'm not fucking mistaken. Like, yo,
that's very funny.
It's one thing that the Pirates do. Pirates fans want to bitch about. Like, all right, I get it. Like, you have nothing to hold your hat on. I get it.
Them, like, that's still their fault. There's nothing stopping
1,000%. But like, fandom is not always rational. At least I can point to like, all right, I understand why y'all are crying. I think you should be bitching about the ownership more than the fucking Dodgers. The Dodgers are playing within the same set of rules the Pirates are. They just actually care about the baseball side of things. The Pirates don't. The Pirates ownership doesn't.
The Royals have been in as many World Series as the Dodgers the last decade. 2-2, and I don't even count one of the two that the Dodgers played in. So you could argue more. And so it's like it can be done the other way. You have to have an insane run of luck with your own guys,
For sure.
but it can be done.
It can be. And I mean, the Royals drafted and developed really well. Like their free agent signings that they did have, the mid-market type of free agent signings, they panned out really well. And they went on a nice run. They could have went back to back. Like they lost in game 7, the first one, right? Yeah, they lost in game 7. Yeah, they could have went back to back. Or the second one, whichever one. They lost in
No, they
7 to the
won
Giants.
this. Yeah, because they beat the Mets in 15. 14, they lost to the Giants because that was when the Giants were doing their every other year thing.
Right.
And then, 16 was the Cubs. Yeah. And then what was 17 the Astros?
But, Yankee fans crying about, everybody wants to go to the Dodgers. Shut up. Mets fans crying, everybody wants to go to the Dodgers. Bro, for 3 years, all y'all been telling me that Steve Cohen's going to buy everybody. That's all you've been telling me for 3 fucking years. Steve Cohen's going to do this. He going to come in and nobody could say no to Uncle Steve and his wallet. And then everybody's been saying no to Uncle Steve. The non-geriatrics have been saying no to Steve Cohen and his fucking wallet. And now it's, the Dodgers are ruining the sport. Shut up. And on top of that, we just saw the fucking Diamondbacks wipe the floor with those dudes for 3 games in the playoffs. The Dodgers went out with a fucking whimper. Sad.
They typically do.
Sad. Like, big sad in the playoffs.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like they've acquired bums. It's obviously not the case. Glasnow, the only pitcher worse than him in postseason history is Clayton Kershaw. Otani and Yamamoto have played as many playoff games as I have. Like it is what it is. Like they are the preeminent postseason choking team, and they've added nobody with any postseason experience. No fault to Otani or Yamamoto. That's just where they're at.
And even so, like, let's pretend that they did. You get to the playoffs, you get cold for 4 games, you go home, man. That's how it works. That's how the fucking sport works. You go home. You get to the playoffs. You could get hot and get to the World Series. We just fucking saw it. The Diamondbacks did it. Or you're the Dodgers. You come in. Clayton Kershaw sets the tone by giving up roughly 18 runs in the first inning of game 1, and then you get sent home. Stuff happens. Like, the Dodgers are going to win at least 5 World Series next year. How the fuck do you watch baseball come to that conclusion? How?
It's insane. People said the same thing about the Padres last year. It was just like, they're going to be unstoppable. They don't even make the fucking playoffs.
Do you not understand the sport? This is not the NBA. Where like, all right, you get 3 top 15 players. Yeah, you expect to win some fucking chips. Okay, understood. Baseball, like, bro, all it takes is a bad week. And that can happen to fucking anybody. It takes a bad week or it takes a good week if you want to look at the other perspective. That's what it takes.
Well, the Rangers, when we started this show, we were like, hey, they're going to lose this. Like, they had a terrible August and like barely got into not barely, but like they had to fight to get into the playoffs how they did. And it was just like, here come the Astros again. They're just going to do what the Astros do. And then the Rangers went in there and Adolis Garcia was like, I'm not too concerned with what's going on. I'm not all that concerned at all. As a matter of fact.
I'm not going to let y'all ruin this for me is what he said. Like, I'm not going to let none of y'all ruin this for me. And then he went out there and he fucking did it.
I mean, we've said it before. David Ortiz was not nationally known in 2004. Like, that's playoff run is where it started. David Freese is still not nationally known, but he willed the Cardinals to a World Series title.
Sure did.
We see it. Pablo Sandoval, when he was with the Giants, was just like, hey, I'm just going to hit every time I'm in the box. Alcides Escobar with those Royals was like, I'm going to swing at every first pitch and it's going to be a ground rule double somehow. Like that, you never know. Randy Arozarena was like, I'm going to hit a home run every single time I step into the box. Like one guy you've never even heard of can go out there and win you a series, let alone a World Series. Like they can advance you that way. It's baseball. Baseball is a stupid fucking sport. No rhyme or reason to it.
Speaking of since we did bring up the Royals, just real quick, the list that Alana Rizzo put out talking about the top 10 players that have debuted since 2009. And having Salvador Perez on that list, what the fuck are we doing?
why do Yankee fans specifically hate Salvador Perez so much? Because it is only Yankee fans I see that genuinely hate Salvador Perez.
Because he literally is Gary Sanchez, and nobody cared about Gary Sanchez. And people ridicule Gary Sanchez. You know what? Let me walk this back. I don't know
I
why
was
it's
gonna
just
say.
Yankee fans. I have no idea. I could speak for me personally. Like, part of it is, bro, we've watched Gary Sanchez do literally this: hit home runs, not do much else, be awful on defense. It's useful. I'm not here to say that Salvador Perez is a bad baseball player. That'd be a lie. But he's not Johnny fucking Bench either. We don't have to fucking pretend. He's not. Like, he's cool. He's a cool baseball player, right? He's cool. He goes up there, he wears a little perfume, hits a million home runs and all that, refuses to take a walk, can't defend worth a lick. And you got to really pretend he's Derek Jeter. Like, relax, calm down.
Listen, I mean, I'm glad you brought him up. I'm looking at 5 Gold Gloves here. Are you saying Gold Gloves don't indicate a good defender? Because that opens up a big can of worms for Yankees fans specifically.
Okay. You're opening up. First of all, you're asking a bad faith question. I see what you're doing here.
I'm not asking a bad faith question. Either the Gold Glove means you're a good defender or it doesn't.
Oh, for me, it doesn't. Okay. Like, I would be the first one to tell you, Derek.
So then I think the Derek Jeter comparison is perfectly apt.
Derek Jeter is miles better offensively. Let's not.
4 Silver Sluggers here. How many did Jeter have? I'm genuinely curious.
You want to get into? Go look at Salvador Perez's numbers the years he won the Silver Sluggers. One of them, he had like a 95 weighted runs created plus, bro.
Listen, for Derek Jeter played 75 more years than Salvador Perez. I'm looking at the same amount of Gold Gloves and 1 more Silver Slugger. It's the same picture you're on, or is what I'm getting at here. This is the Royals' Derek Jeter, whether you want to admit it or not. That's who we're looking at here.
Except he was nowhere near as good, but I know what you're trying to do here. And what?
Listen, Derek Jeter was at best in the 90s the 3rd best offensive shortstop in the American League. Salvador Perez.
Oh, what is your point?
Is a top 3 offensive catcher every year.
No, he's not.
What do you mean? Who are these other great offensive catchers walking around?
To be great to be better than fucking Salvador Perez.
So name them if there's so many of them.
Fine. Let's. Fine. I got time. Let's go ahead. 2023 catchers.
Oh, we're gonna cherry pick his age 33 season, not the year he hit 48 bombs. How convenient.
Oh, that's the one great year he had. What do you want from me? You pick another year then. Pick another year.
Stop. All right, 15, he hit 21. 16, he hit 22. 17, he hit 27. 18, he hit 27.
He was great.
Seems like he was
cooking
one for a
great
while.
Year.
I said he was top 3. I didn't say he was the best catcher of all time. I said 4.
Pick the time frame.
From fucking 24 to 30. And in one of those years he missed because he was hurt.
See, I'm not good enough at Fangraphs to be doing all that. So I can't tell.
We got robbed of a prime Salvi Perez season, and you just don't even care. You don't care.
Correct.
Baseball. As a baseball purist, you don't care that one of the greats we've seen crouch behind
one
the
of
dish.
The greats we've seen. One of the great what?
Catchers.
What? My brother, he has less career WAR than Gary Sanchez. Stop playing in my face. Please. I beg you, stop playing in my face.
Nerd.
He has less WAR than
Gary
Sanchez.
No, he doesn't.
What's the WAR total?
It's 33 to 14. What are you talking about?
All right.
It's a bloodbath.
Okay. My apologies. It was over this. I saw a tweet. It was over the same period of time. I don't know if it was 4 years, 5 years. I don't remember. Whatever.
Listen,
it
says a lot. One of these guys just actually keeps playing at a consistent level. You don't have to guess what you're getting with Salvador Perez.
There's a value in getting an average player year over year. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
At catcher, he's above average. Okay, if he were playing first like this, I wouldn't.
If he's
be
an average hitter and one of the worst defenders in the sport, how do we get good out of that?
5 Gold Gloves.
So did Derek Jeter. What's your point? What's
Listen,
your
that
point?
was exactly what I was hoping you would say. That was
What's
my
it, what's your
point.
Oh, I mean, listen, I will argue with Yankee fans about Derek Jeter's defense. I don't understand why we feel the need to lie
It was
about it.
bad.
Like, Derek Jeter was a bad defender, and that's fine. Derek Jeter's not in the Hall of Fame because he could fucking field. He's not. Derek Jeter's in the Hall of Fame because he was one of the best hitters of all time at shortstop. That's what he was. He wasn't a good fielder. That's okay. He was one of the stop.
No, I'm thinking for you specifically for a slap singles hitter, calling him one of the great
He was
hitters of
not
all
a
time.
slap. Knock it off.
Dude,
Knock
what
it
are we
off.
talking about?
He is not a slap. He's not
If
David
you
Eckstein.
picture
Relax.
Derek Jeter, if I just said Derek Jeter got a hit, what's the first thing that comes to mind? An opposite field single that he slapped on the outside part of the plate. It's exactly what comes to mind. Don't even lie.
Listen, I like productivity, baby. I don't care how it comes.
No, you don't.
I like productivity.
Don't.
Yes, I do. It's not my fault the masses overrate every contact hitter ever. That's not my problem. That's not my fault.
So we're talking about a guy who cracked 20 home runs 3 times and never led the league in doubles.
The
What
guy,
a power hitter.
the guy was a 100. The guy was a 115 WRC plus for OPS plus for his career.
So he's 15% ahead of the league average. That's not that insane. He's worse than Tyler O'Neill.
Bro, have we seen? Have we seen shortstops?
115 is not that great.
Yes, I mean it was also that was also compromised by his last 2 years where he was awful. So there's that. But
yeah, he was like 118 before that. What are you talking about?
He was like 120 before that. What you mean?
No, career.
What you mean? I know.
A-Rod's was 140. If we want to talk about all-time great shortstops that could hit.
Derek Jeter is one of the best hitting shortstops of all time. That's objectively true. You can look it up. We can do whatever you need to do with it. But there are a lot of negative opinions, negative opinions about Derek Jeter. I'll agree with. He's my favorite player of all time. I'm not a liar. Like if you tell me you're taking peak Nomar over peak Jeter, I agree with you. You tell me Jeter's a bad defender, I'm gonna agree with you. Like, I'm real about the guy. But knock it off about the defense. And I'm talking about the people who like his defense. Knock it off. He wasn't a good defender. Like, and my favorite is when they post like a 4-minute highlight clip. It's like, bro, he played for 20 years. I'd hope that he had fucking 4 minutes of highlights. He played for 20 fucking years.
He didn't miss many games.
Right. He played for 20 fucking years. I would hope he had a fucking highlight reel. Like, not to slander Dirk, but Dirk wasn't exactly defending anybody either. And I'm sure you can find a fucking highlight clip of Dirk's defense on YouTube if you search long enough. He played for 20 years.
Dirk was a solid low post defender. He just couldn't move his feet outside of the post. Nomar career 124 OPS plus. Even with like the years, his groin literally tore off the bone.
Like, I don't.
Xander 117 career.
Try to compare Derek Jeter to Salvador Perez. The worst thing you've ever done to me, bro.
I mean, what? Now I'm bringing back Salvi back up because what's his career OPS plus? If it's 115, I swear to God, if it's 115, it's 104. You got lucky.
He's an average hitter.
But his highs, I mean, we're talking 128, 159, 128 again. Like Jeter wasn't doing that. Jeter was like a replacement level player.
If he's replacement level, I don't even know
now that you brought Jeter up, because I didn't bring him up, you brought him up. Now that you brought him up, the Garrett Cole story makes all the sense in the world when you think about how Jeter forced A-Rod off his position. Like, this is all over again. And look how that cost you. 20 years later.
How did it cost them?
What do you mean?
You said it cost them. How did
they're in their worst 20-year stretch ever?
No. I mean, you said he did the same thing Jeter did, and it cost. I'm assuming
it cost you Yamamoto.
Oh, I thought you meant like it cost them something back then. I'm like, what did it cost them? They got A-Rod. He had a lot of great years for them. They won a championship in that time frame. Okay. Oh, so you were just trolling. Oh, stop.
One championship over 20 years is costly for the Yankees. Like, that's bad. And you know it is. You know it is.
I don't subscribe to that. But I was
The
talking about
real
the individual
Steinbrenner would have
players.
killed 7 people by now if he saw this shit.
I mean, he also would have tried. He would have traded Aaron Judge for like some bullshit 7 years ago. On top of that, so if we want to bring up the positives that he was a maniac, he cared about winning. Okay, then understand that he would have traded Aaron Judge a long time ago.
But you also have to. He would have traded him like for Soto. Like he wouldn't have traded him for someone bad.
Are you sure? I'm
The
not.
Yankees
Like, are you sure? Because I'm not.
always had great players.
Like, they might have traded for James Shields for all you fucking know.
James Shields was pretty electric.
Yeah, for like 8 minutes. I can't believe you tried to compare Salvador Perez to Derek Jeter, man.
You did.
No, you did.
Not true.
No, you did.
We were talking about Salvador Perez. You brought up Derek Jeter. What was I to do?
I didn't compare them. I said they act like he's Derek Jeter. That's not a comparison. That's a declarative statement. Thank you.
I don't think it's that far off. I think if anything, it's insulting to Perez.
I hope somebody throws a brick through your window.
Slaps.
I hope somebody throws a brick through your window. Bro.
Saying Jeter wasn't a singles hitter is the most insane thing you've ever said.
He wasn't. He was a gap-to-gap guy.
He's 2,800 of his 3,400 hits were singles. He wasn't a singles hitter.
You know what you're trying to say when you say singles hitter, man. Yes, the majority of his hits are singles. I understand. He was a
singles hitter. That's what he was known for.
No, man. We're not going to get into fucking semantics. You're not going to out-semantic me.
Pulled the internet. I thought you pulled your internet out because you froze. What did you say?
You're not going to out-semantic me. We're not going to you're not going to semantics me. I know what a singles hitter is. A singles hitter is somebody who all they do is hit singles. That's not the case here.
When you think of Derek Jeter getting a hit, what comes to mind? Is the second baseman leaping for a bloop coming into play? It is. Of course it is.
A sharp double to right center is what comes to mind first. He was not as either way. Oh, bullshit aside. Singles hitters, there are some of them who are really good. All of them just happen to be overrated. That's not my fault.
Like this one.
Like, some people do overrate Jeter. Let me make myself clear. I'm not one of them. I'm not. He's a Hall of Fame caliber hitter. That's why he's in
definitely
the Hall of Fame.
a Hall of Famer. I would never say he's not a Hall of Famer.
He's one of the best shortstops of all time, hitting wise. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
He might be like 10th.
That's one of the best hitting shortstops of all time. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, he's 10th. Fine. If you want to say he's 10th, fine. That's one of the best hitting shortstops of all time. I didn't say he was third.
I just said he's one of the best. 117 career. Never had a year under 100. So he's like the third best New York shortstop.
Who the fuck
the last
is second?
20 years. Well, A-Rod's won.
He didn't play short, bro.
Why?
We're gonna do this too? Fine. The Derek Jeter episode,
what happened?
This is the Derek Jeter episode, I guess. All right, I'll say it. Fine.
Jose Reyes. Reyes is up there.
Oh, knock it. Don't get out of character. Don't let him get you out of character. Anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say. That knocked me off my train of thought, man.
Yeah, why did A-Rod play third?
Oh yeah, why did A-Rod play third? The Jeter leadership myth is one of my least favorite things about the Jeter discourse as a whole.
The captain.
Listen, I'm not here to say Jeter's a bad locker room guy. Not in the locker room. I don't fucking know. What I do know is two things that shit directly on all of that mythology. One, when CC Sabathia was a free agent and they were trying to get him and ended up paying him gobs and gobs of fucking money to do so, a big selling point was him helping fix the clubhouse. Gee, I wonder why that happened. Why that had to happen. A big selling point was, yo, we need different energy in this clubhouse. Who was the leader of that clubhouse? All right, thank you. And two, if he was this great leader, you don't think Jeter has eyes that work, right? Well, the internet wasn't big back then, so I'll leave that out of this. He knew good and fucking well A-Rod was a better shortstop. He knew that. Everybody knew that shit. And the best Yankee alignment at that time was not Derek Jeter at shortstop. Simply put, it wasn't. Put him at third. Put him in left. I don't give a fuck. At short, no. Like, you are not the best shortstop on that team. And as we've established, being baseball watchers, shortstop is a really important position defensively, correct? A-Rod was that while giving you 50 home runs a year casually. He was the best shortstop of the team. Jeter let his, and granted, I'm a petty human being, so I relate to this part of it. He let his pettiness get in the fucking way, but that's not good leadership. That's not good leadership.
No.
But if you want the real answer why A-Rod ended up playing third, it's because Derek Jeter's ego wouldn't let him. Say whatever you want about Aaron Judge. There's a lot of good and some bad you can say about Aaron Judge. If you call him right now and tell him, hey man, you got to move off right. I mean, granted, outfield is different. I understand. You got to move off right field so we can play Soto over there. You think you would give a fuck? Like, sure, man. Go for it. I've seen Soto hit baseballs. If whatever makes him feel comfortable, sure, man, do it. And I get it. Jeter and A-Rod had negative history. I get it. Baseballs, and Jeter would rather die than give A-Rod his spot at that time. Understood. But, yo, is he team first or is he not?
He was not.
Great player, but I'm not with the leadership nonsense. I'm really not. I'm not saying he was a bad leader. I'm just saying he's not some fucking pureless A1 like follow the guy kind of. No, he's not. He was great at his job. He showed up every day. He should be commended for it.
Do you think if he was a better leader, they wouldn't have blown the first 3-0 lead in the sports history?
We hitting all the greatest hits there. I don't think his leadership had anything to do with the Yankees having the lead enter the ninth inning 5 consecutive fucking games and losing the series anyway. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I could be wrong. I doubt it. I don't think any kumbaya speech is the reason Mariano was coming in and shitting the bed on Fenway soil in games 4 and game 5. I don't think so. You got anything else?
I just think we can't rule it out. I think
we could effectively rule it out.
I don't know. Maybe like if he was a better leader, maybe he could have given a rousing speech that could have helped in those trying times.
My brother, they had 3 outs to get twice with that would have sent the Red Sox home, but they didn't do it either time. Please get the fuck out of my face about speeches.
Could have told Tony Clark, keep the ball in the park. No ground rule doubles, big fella. No.
I hate that place. I hate ground rule doubles so much. I really do. I really hate ground rule doubles so much.
What do you think should happen?
I think the rule that they used to have, where the umpires exercise fair judgment on whether the guy would have scored or not, I think they should have kept it in there. It's fucking 2 outs, 3-2 count. Guy is running off of, bro. He was gonna score. What are we doing? I've watched them send Ellie De La Cruz back to third on ground rule doubles. Can we use our common sense, please? I'm begging. Use our common sense.
No, I think it was the right call. I'm glad they made the right call. I don't know how you could even call it any other way. I mean, that was clear as day. Guy could fall down. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
He could have fallen down and gotten up and still scored. If we're going to
Johnny Damon probably would have thrown him out on a rope, if we're being honest. All
right, man. All right.
But yeah, I'm glad we got to really unearth how detrimental Derek Jeter was. Kobe-esque, really, when you think about how their careers ended.
It saddens me how similar their careers are. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to say nothing more. It deeply saddens me. I'm not even going to lie to you. Saddens me. And don't clip this neither, bro.
You want to take a little bit less so we can get some good players? No, I don't think so, actually. See you later. That's how they both handled it. And they both, I mean, Kobe leveraged the Clippers for more money for the Lakers, more power. Jeter, I remember he was like, I won't play third for you. I might play third for the Red Sox. That was something I'll never forget. I was like, I don't think anyone.
That never happened. Knock it off.
That was like
That never happened.
When was he? No, it did. I remember it.
That's the same tier of rumor as Michael Jordan was going to play for the Knicks. Stop it. That was never going to happen.
No, I remember it. I remember it clear as day because it wasn't something I like read online, like on the Yahoo Rumors tab. It was very much like on TV. People were like, "Yeah, Jeter's considering coming to the Red Sox," and then like 2 days later, the Yankees gave him a big deal. This was like
He would never.
what I'm trying to think of, like when he was up.
This had to be like 01 around there.
No. It was old Jeter. It was like 13.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't prime.
They should have let him go try if we're going to keep it a bean. Like, oh, you want to go play third for the Red Sox at 35? Be my guest, man. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. See if we care.
Yeah, that would have been disgusting for everyone involved.
Very, very, very disgusting. Everybody involved.
Can't have that. Would have been funny, but at what cost? At what cost?
Yes, funny. I've won, but at what cost?
yeah. Like, let's be for real for a second. Sickening. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
Can't wait. Jordan Montgomery signed with somebody tomorrow. I can feel it.
Oh, I admit my prediction was off. His birthday passed and he didn't sign.
Bro, anybody we said was going to sign had to sign. All of our predictions were off. Like every single one of them was.
We'll end every episode until something happens with this. By next episode, who will have signed out of like
Montgomery's
the top
20
guys?
By next episode.
You guaranteeing it?
No, I've learned my lesson. No, I've learned my lesson. I have a strong inkling. No guarantee.
I'll take Giolito to the Orioles.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's by next episode that will have happened.
Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow because something's guaranteed. Guaranteed. No. We record, something happens Thursday. Fucking rinse and repeat.
Bellinger gets $800 million. We're like, what the fuck, dude?
Finally, somebody's like, all right, man. Fine, Scott. We agree with you. Just give him the world. Yeah.